Hello friends, welcome to the next session. So the problem over here is L is equal to set of all x such that x belongs to 0, 1 star such that x contains equal number of zeros and ones. So friends, if you observe over here, the question is not interested in the order of zeros and ones. The question is interested whether the number of zeros and number of ones are same or not. So this is how this problem differs from the previous 4 problems. So how are we going to solve this problem? It's very simple. So let me consider an example over here. Maybe the first example be 1 1 0 0 1 0 blank. Yes, it does belong. So now I say start from this one, move from left towards the right in search of first zero. The moment you get the first zero, convert it to star and now keep on moving to the right till you get the first blank. The moment you get the first blank, now you take a left turn. Now when you take a left turn from there, so keep on bypassing everything till you get the first one. Make the first one as star and now move to the extreme left till you get the first blank. The moment you get the first blank, keep the blank as it is and move to the right. Now this time when you are going to move from left to right, you are going to search for first zero. So unless and until you get the first zero, bypass everything. The moment you get the first zero, make it as star and move to the extreme right in search of the first blank. Keep the blank as it is and move to the left and now bypass everything till you get the first one. The moment you get the first one, you are going to make it a star and bypass everything and move to the extreme left till you get the first blank. Keep the blank as it is and move to the right. Now when you move to the right, you are going to bypass everything till you get the first zero. Make the first zero as star and move to the right in search of the first blank. Keep the blank as it is and move to the left. While moving to the left, now you are going to search for the first one. Till then you are going to bypass everything. The moment you get the first one, you are going to make it a star and move to the extreme left till you get a blank. Keep the blank as it is, move to the right. Now my friends, when you move to the right of this blank, you will be encountering a lot of stars, but unfortunately no zeros are present over here, right? So when you move to the right of it, if you are able to see only stars other than zeros or ones, we see over here that all the stars will be bypassed and I'll be coming across a blank over here, signifying that my zeros are over. So I move on to the extreme right till I get the first blank. Keep the blank as it is and I now take a left turn. Now when I take a left turn and if I keep on moving to the left till I get the next blank, it assures me that in between these two blank neither a 0 nor a 1 is pending, which signifies that it has equal number of zeros and ones in the string. Let's consider one more example. Let's say I have a string like 0 0 1 1 1 0. So I have 3 zeros and 3 ones over here. My logic is I'm going to check for 0 when I move from left to right, and I'm going to check for 1 when I move from right to left. And for every occurrence of 0 while moving from left to right or right to left, for every occurrence of first 0 or first 1, I'll be converting it to star. So now when I'm moving from left to right, I see that I get a 0 over here itself and I make it as star and move to the right. Now when I'm moving from right to left, I see that I get a 1 over here converted to star and I move to the extreme left. Again when I take a U-turn from here, I get a 0 over here, I make it a star and move to the extreme right. I take a U-turn from here till I get the first one. The moment I get it as 1, I make it a star and move to the extreme left. I take a U-turn from here, bypass everything till I get the first 0, make the first 0 a star and move to the extreme right. Next, I take a U-turn till I get the first one, bypass everything, make it a star and move to the extreme left. Now when I take a U-turn and I see that there is nothing other than stars in between the two blanks, I conclude that accept this particular input. Now friends, let's consider an example where it will be rejected. Then only the things will become clear whether the machine is working perfectly fine or not. So let's say we have an example like B1 0 1 1 0 blank. So friends, I go from left to right, I get a 0, I make it a star and I move to the extreme right. I take a U-turn, I get the first one, I make it a star and I move to the extreme left. I take a U-turn, I search for the first 0, I make it a star and I move to the extreme right. I make a U-turn, I search for first one, I make it a star and I move to the extreme left. I take a U-turn, I search for the first 0, I do not find it till I get a blank, so I keep it as it is, and now I am very sure that my zeros are over, so if the number has to be accepted, my 1 should also be over. So now when I take a U-turn and if I directly get a blank, I conclude that the input is accepted. However, over here I am getting a 1 and therefore I say at this point itself the machine is going to say that the input will be rejected. So that's how it is going to work. So now let's solve the implementation part of it and see how the machine is going to behave in this particular case. So friends, let's consider example blank 0 1 1 0 0 1 blank. Before solving, let's count the number of zeros 1 to 3 and number of ones are also 3. So friends, we are in state Q0. In Q0 state, I come across a 0, I make it a star and I move to the right to state Q1. In state Q1, I have to bypass everything till I get the first blank. So in state Q1, I'll be getting a 1, I bypass it and move to right. I'll be getting a 0, I bypass it and move to right till I get a blank, and for that blank I'm going to keep the blank as it is and move to the left. So I'll be keeping the blank as it is, I move to the left and now I go to the state Q2. In Q2 state, I'll be looking for 1 and I got it. So in Q2 state, if you are getting a 1, I'm going to make it a star and move to the left going to state Q3. So 1 will be made as star, I go to left and in Q3, whatever I get, I have to bypass till I get the blank. So in Q3, I am getting a 0, I am getting a 1 and I am getting a star. So 0 will be 0 and move to left, 1 will be 1, move to left, star will be star and move to left till I get the first blank. So blank will be kept as blank and I move to right. Now when I move to the right, I go to state Q0 and in state Q0 for the first time I am getting a star. I have to bypass it. So in Q0 keep the star as star and move to right. I also get a 1. I have to bypass it. Keep the 1 as 1 and move to right. So a moment will come when I get the first 0. I make it a star and I move to right. Now I get a 0. We have to bypass it in Q1. I get a star. I have to bypass it in Q1. Then I get a blank. I can keep the blank as it is and move to the left. When I move to the left in my Q2, for the first time I'll be getting stars and zeros which I have to bypass. So star will be kept as star and I move to the left. Zeros will be kept as zeros and I move to the left. And a moment will come when I come across the first one to make it a star. So that will be done in Q2. On receiving 1, make it a star, move to left. I go to state Q3. In Q3, I'm going to keep on moving to the left till I get the blank, and blank will be kept as blank and I move to right. Now that completes the diagram. So with this, we know that Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3 is sufficient enough to cycle for making zeros as stars and ones as stars in left to right and right to left cycles respectively. So let's do that directly now. So Q0 on receiving star will bypass it, 1 will bypass it, star bypass, but Q0 on receiving the first 0 will make it a star and move to right. And in Q1 all the stars will be bypassed. In Q1 when a blank is received, it will keep it as blank and move to the left. Now when it moves to the left in Q2, I see that a lot of stars are there which will be bypassed. A moment a 1 comes over here, that will be converted to star, and bypassing everything I go to Q3, and Q3 on receiving a blank will keep it as blank and move to right, and I will currently stand at this position. Now when I stand over here in Q0, I see that I am getting stars back to back again and again. So in Q0 when I get a lot of stars back to back again, I see that all the stars will be bypassed and I'll be remaining in state Q0 itself. A moment will come when in state Q0 I'll be coming across a blank. So I say keep the blank as blank and move to the left, and let's go to a new state Q4. Now in state Q4, when I move to the left, again if I get if and only the stars and I keep on bypassing it, and after bypassing all these stars, if I am getting a blank, I say keep the blank as it is and conclude that the machine can go to the final state. So what we have basically done over here is, in the last iteration while going from left to right, if none of the zeros are found, none of the ones should also be found while coming from right to left, and that is something that we have rechecked in my iterations Q0 to Q4 and Q4 to QF, and that cross verifies that there are no zeros or ones left on the tape, and therefore we conclude that the input can be accepted by my finite state machine, and therefore we conclude that the input can be accepted by Turing machine. So with this friends, we complete with this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.